How was the food? How rough were the seas? Did you have enough to do? Let's talk about the truth about a transatlantic cruise. Stick around to the end and I'll tell you if you would do it again. Hi, I'm Sarah, I'm a mom to four, and we just got back from our transatlantic cruise, leaving from Port Canaveral, Florida, all the way to Barcelona, Spain. We spent 6 days straight at sea to get to the Azores, and then we had more sea days in between. Let's start with food. Yes, the menus changed daily. However, the flavors were very American, and by the end of it, we were craving some of our favorites from back home. This isn't to say the food was bad. The food was wonderful. It was just pretty standard and pretty American. Okay, let's talk about medical stuff. If you have any medical complications on the ship and we're in the middle of the ocean, yeah, that ain't great. There was a medical emergency on board, but we were close enough to Portugal for them to life flight a helicopter out to the ship to rescue and attend to the person and get them the medical care that they needed. But if we're in the middle of the ocean, SOL, I guess, I don't know. No helicopter can come out to get you out there. So just something to note. Was there enough to do? Okay, on a transatlantic cruise, you're at sea for a very long time. It is a pretty long cruise, and you're not stopping at ports every single day. So we had so much to do on this cruise. We did cruise with Disney, so that does make a difference. So we had trivias, there were animation classes, there's the kids club, there were the pools and the splash pad, basketball, there's crafts, there were shows, there was so much to do. They even added extra things for this cruise, mostly for the adults, like dance classes and a cooking demonstration and a special speaker series. We could not do it all, and yet we're never bored. We were never in the room. There was no nap time except for our littlest, who's a toddler. But for the most part, she was napping in a carrier or in a stroller because there was so much to do. Next, there are time zone changes. If you're going to go on a transatlantic cruise, you should know this ahead of time and know which direction you're going and which way your time zones are going to change. So if you are going east, you are going to lose an hour every time the time changes. And then if you're going west, you'll gain an hour. So on our eastbound transatlantic cruise, we ended up losing a total of 6 hours across the sailing. So that means 6 different nights we lost an hour of sleep. And that was kind of rough, especially by the end of it. Because you were at sea for at least 6 days, you need to make sure you pack wisely. If you if you don't pack according to the weather, if you don't bring pants, there is no store in the middle of the ocean to go get yourself some pants, or your kids' pants. Or if you need diapers, there are probably diapers on the ship. But if you have a special thing that you like, special medication, special diaper creams or specific anything, there is not going to be that at sea. So just something to know, pack what you need if you need it. If you are traveling with children, you need to have a travel childcare plan if you are going on a transatlantic cruise, because 7 days with little kids can be difficult, and you need to know what your childcare options are if they have them ahead of time. And there are some things that are not childcare options that you should not be doing, like leaving a toddler in a room alone. That is not a childcare plan. Do not ever do that. So for us, we were on a Disney cruise. They had free childcare for ages 3 and up. And then for our toddler, there was childcare that was about $9 an hour, which was incredible. We did have to reserve times for her, but it was no problem. And we brought grandma with us so that the kids all slept in one room with grandma. And so mom and dad could go out to dinner, go to the late shows, etc., and not have to worry about the kids. So that's what we did. Okay, and finally, Mother Nature is not something that can be controlled, and there is no way to know if you're going to have rough seas on your sailing. We only had 2 days of rough seas, and they weren't really that bad. None of us in our family got seasick, but others did. So for that, I just plan accordingly. I would pack some medications, patches, whatever, just be prepared, because you never know. So would we do it again? 120% yes. Our kids are young right now, and they absolutely loved all of the sea days, and that gave us buffer time when we were in port to really stretch them to the limits of being in Europe. We had so much to do on the ship and never were bored or I mean, there was just so much to do. So, yeah, I think this is the best way for our family to travel, to have a home base at sea, to have a home base on a ship, and then to be able to see other countries. And then having all those extra sea days just really allowed for uninterrupted family time, because we don't do internet at sea. And so that was just really, really magical to have so many hours and days of just getting to play with the kids and not worrying about someone was going to email or call or anything like that, because we were with them. I think that covers it all. If you have any questions about a transatlantic cruise, leave them below. Would you take a cruise like this? I want to know. Okay, see you in the next video.